Hey guys, Brian from DEI Powersports here. Today on another installment of DEI Garage, we're going to show you how you can take a set of old pipes and make them look new again. For a lot of you guys out there, a new exhaust system and the expense of that maybe just isn't in the cards. So we'll show you step-by-step instructions on how to take an old set of pipes that maybe kind of beat up and blew and add a whole new look. So in addition to not only keeping your leg from getting burned and knocking down the temperatures around your leg, it'll also add a great cosmetic look. So with the help of DEI products, let's go ahead and head back to the garage and workshop right now, and we'll show you and get started. So for this project, we were able to get a set of headers off an old Harley Sportster. And one of the first things you want to do after removing the headers off and removing the heat shields is you want to inspect for damage. You want to make sure that there's no cracks, and you want to make sure that despite being used, that these are still okay to wrap and continue on into service, and you don't need to replace them. So we went ahead and looked these over pretty good, and no cracks, no visible signs of wear. A lot of bluing, a lot of road grime, and that. So that's going to be the next step. Is we'll take everything. We've taken everything apart. We'll go ahead and take these pieces apart, and you want to remove any extra pieces. So we want to take away the flanges or any extra clamps that may be on here, any of the extra parts, and we'll inspect those as well. On this particular bike, we noticed that the retainers and the flange heads are pretty much hammered, so we'll end up planning on replacing these after we remove them. So depending on the pipes that you have, whether they're chrome or stainless or the type of finish that you have, it'll depend on how you attack this problem. So with these pipes, they are chromed, but they're pretty hammered, so we're going to go ahead and use an abrasive cloth to take down any of the surface rust and take away any of the road grime and some of the oil that has built up over the years. And so that'll give a nice tooth for the primer to stick to. In addition to the Scotch-Brite pad or an abrasion pad, you could also even use a real fine steel wool to take the surface rust off and take some of the bluing away and any of the road grime or debris that's built up over the years. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to go ahead and remove these flanges, as most bike flanges will have a retaining clip. And as I said, these are pretty rusty, so we'll go ahead and take these off. As you can see, using a combination of stainless steel pad and abrasive pad, we're able to get quite a bit of surface material, surface rust, and road debris off of these pipes. So we've got them all scrubbed up nice now. And one last thing you want to do here before we move on to painting is you want to use some sort of detergent or cleaner to wipe the pipes down, making sure that any of the residual oils or any debris, loose debris, is now cleaned off, and then they'll be ready to accept the finish of the paint. As you can see, spraying it down and wiping it off, we were still able to get some additional debris that was on the pipe and some additional smudge. Top tip for you too, for the purpose of the video, I went ahead and I wanted to show you how much rust we got off, and so I put it on the table. You guys at home or in your garage, smart thing to do, do this over a garbage can. And then all the shavings go right to the garbage can, then you don't make a huge mess on your bench. So anytime you're painting, common sense rules apply. Do it in a well-ventilated space. So now we'll go ahead and get started painting our headers with the primer spray. You want to do a nice light coat, perhaps even 2 or 3 coats as you get started. So we're back from the workshop and we have our headers all painted and ready to go. We applied several thin coats, 3 or 4 coats of the silicone spray, and allowed it thoroughly time to dry, about 2 to 3 hours of drying time. This will give you a nice finish, and again, the purpose of this is to prevent any further corrosion or any rust, since we were starting to see some pitting on these old headers, and again, just kind of give a nice tooth for the wrap to grip onto. You don't have to do it, but it's just something that we recommend, again, for those reasons. I do want to go over a couple of tools that we're going to end up using when we get into the wrap section. And by doing this and getting planning, with a little bit of planning, you'll be able to have a smoother, more efficient install. So first I want to show you, when we get to the stainless ties and securing the wrap, we recommend our stainless tie tool. It's a 1/4 inch drive tool with a slot on the end. It's a basic tool, but what it'll allow you to do is it allows you to get the ties nice and tight, and it gives you a professional finish. If you don't have this tool, no reason to panic. The next best option would be a small screwdriver and a spring puller. If you don't have either one of those tools, the needle nose pliers will still fill in and do a nice job. For this installation, we went ahead and decided to use our titanium exhaust wrap. It'll give you a real nice finish. It's super pliable, it's very soft and easy to work with, and particularly with this cross joint, and we really wanted a professional look, it really will do the best job for you. In addition to, we're going to do this in 3 or 4 sections as we wrap. And one thing to note, anytime you're doing wrap, you always want to start at the bottom, or work your way back and work your way forward towards the header. This will allow you to, any sort of moisture or any sort of air that catches, any sort of dirt, it won't be trapped into the exhaust wrap. It'll actually go down like say shingles on a roof, for example. You want it to run that way. So we're going to do this in 3 to 4, actually probably 4 sections. We'll start wrapping back here, work our way forward, and then we'll also have this piece wrapped with as a separate piece, and then moving forward, and then doing the same thing in the back. And I think what you'll see at the end is a really, really professional job. So we'll take you step by step through that. So for this installation, we brought in our friend Dan from our tech department, who's going to help walk us through this wrap installation and show us some tips and tricks on how to give you the most professional edge, particularly with this cross section that we have here. It's a little bit less straightforward than just, say, a conventional wrap job. So with a titanium exhaust wrap, it does have kind of a left and right side, and that you want to have this looped edge, this notable looped edge, facing outward. So when it's exposed, you see these loops. And then this is on the other side is the side that gets covered underneath the overlap. So when starting with this wrap, the other thing we want to do is you want to fold the end in a triangle type shape. And that just allows you to have a nice tight start without lumps or any fraying. So as you can see, as you get started, it also helps to have a second set of hands initially. Also notice that we've left plenty of space on the back side here for the cross member pipe to slide over, as this is a slip fit exhaust. So with this cross section, we want to leave some extra material so we can kind of cover this up, because as we come from the bottom and work our way forward, there'll be kind of an exposed piece of metal here where the wrap from this side simply won't cover it. So we leave this extra material here as a filler, and so when we come in, we can come over the top with the second set of wrap. So what we'll do now that we have the cross section wrapped is we'll actually just use a piece of tape. You can use Scotch tape, duct tape, whatever you have laying around, to hold this in place while we start with the other wrap. Just like the center section, you want to go ahead and fold over the end of the wrap, just so it's underlying, and again, it prevents from fraying. So when you come up at a nearly right angle like this, just the way that the wrap comes in, you're going to end up with a bit of a bare spot. So again, here's the inside tip from a professional. You can take it and add a patch of extra material here that will just intertwine into the wrap as we go. Once the wrap is fired and hardened and everything is locked down, you won't have any issues with it going anywhere, because it's going to be trapped on either side of the wrap. So again, here's our patched piece tucked nicely into here, and then if you rotate here, here's the patch, here's the end of this wrap tucked over here. So we'll have Dan come around the top, and again, you won't be able to see any bare metal whatsoever. So we managed to cover up both sides. That's all trapped in nicely, and again, a nice overlay, and then now we'll finish up in the top. One thing to remember too, as we come to the top of the header, is that you do want to leave space here to be able to put your lock ring back on, as well as your flange retainer. That'll need some room to slide down, so you don't necessarily want to go all the way to the top there. Again, remember to leave a little room. So with the amount of tension, and as you're wrapping it, you'll notice that the end starts to fray a bit. And that's okay, because what we'll do is we'll fold it in 245s on either side, and then we'll fold it in, creating a nice crease, and then we'll come in with our stainless ties and finish the job. One of the things that'll help with a smoother install is that when you get to the finish line here towards the top of the header, go ahead and use a plastic or nylon zip tie that you have laying around. This will allow you to form a good plan of attack with the stainless ties, because they can be a little fussy to work with. And this frees up both your hands to be able to attack this job. Again, ideally, you'd use the stainless tie tool, but let's go ahead and again quickly cover some of the other methods in which you can use. The second method that I showed was the spring puller and screwdriver method. So once you have your other stainless tie in place, sitting good, you can go ahead and clip off your extra nylon zip tie that you're using as a placeholder, and you can add your second tie. So as you can see with the results, you end up with a very nice installation. You've got a nice, clean, even wrap job. Again, we use the patches and the overlay on the inside here. And ultimately, because of the way that we did this, we ended up only using 2 ties at the top to finish it off. I really like the stainless ties. You know, a lot of guys will add a, you know, if you want to get real specific, you can add a brush finish to them, take some abrasive pad, run them on the buffing wheel. They're stainless, so they'll polish up nice, just like chrome. Adds a really nice touch for your installation. So now that we've got the front side done, we're going to go ahead and do the exact same with the back side, being that the back side is nearly mirroring the front. So we went ahead and finished the back header the same way we did the front header, starting with the cross section first, and again leaving some extra patches on the side, and then wrapping from the back all the way up to the top of the header. What you end up with is a great looking exhaust system, again taking an old beat up bluing, corroded, rusted exhaust and turning it into new, breathing new life into it, and giving you a great look and protecting you from the heat as well. So the products that we used, again just as a recap, are the silver colored silicone spray, and again this can be used as a priming agent for the pipes. It can also be used on top of the wrap as a sealer and a protectant. We didn't want to do that in this case for the simple fact that we really like the look of the titanium and we wanted to maintain that cosmetic appearance to it. We also went ahead and used the 2-inch by 25-foot roll of titanium wrap. That also includes the 6 locking ties, the positive locking ties. And then to finish it off, we used our locking tie tool that again gives you that clean professional look, and that'll save you some time when you're coming into the home stretch. So for me and everybody here at Team DEI, keep watching. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook. We're on Instagram at DEI Power Sports, and we also have Pinterest and Tumblr as well. So thanks for watching.